Hello. Hi
Fish
there.
jerks. Fishy, 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 fishy jerks. Hey,
It's
guys.
the dumbest intro in the Fish Fam, and I
I
absolutely love
love
it.
it.
Uh, Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us again. If you are new here or forgot, the whole first part of the stream, Mary Paige and I are not going to even look at the chat at all. 100%.
We looked.
We're gonna have a conversation, just the two of us, and we're not gonna be looking at chat. We won't be saying hello. We won't even notice anything in the chat.
Put that
Second
back
half,
on.
we will open it up to questions from you guys for Mary. Um, and if the mods would maybe mention that every once in a while, if somebody does ask a question, I just don't want anybody to think we're ignoring specifically them. So, um,
Right.
and I'm super excited for this one because Mary Page is without a doubt, no, there's no argument. She is the most supportive, positive person in the Fish Fam,
I
hands down.
love y'all.
Nobody comes even close. You go to any video, just about video stream, anything, and you will see a comment left there by Mary Page. And it's not like, "Hey, good job." It's like, "Oh my God, you did amazing! This, and this, and I love this, and I love that, and hearts and flowers." And I mean, uh,
Hugs and all kind of stuff.
yeah, you're an amazing lady, and I'm sorry that we didn't do this sooner. There are a million amazing people in the Fish Fam, but
There are.
you're way up here. You really are, and thank you
Oh,
for
but
joining us. And I'm sorry it took so long.
it's okay. It's all the people in the Fish Fam have changed my life. I came in like as kind of like a beginner. I mean, I'd been in the hobby before, and I don't care what you need to find out or learn or whatever you want to keep. There's somebody that the I'm a commenter. I mean, that's my first and foremost thing I ever was a commenter. And
Yeah,
I find as much joy and as much information in comments as I do the actual videos. Like I watch the video and then I read all the comments.
yeah,
And it
yeah,
just blows me away the oh my gosh, the information and the knowledge and the experience that we have in this community. And
yeah.
I just love you all so much. And I've learned so much. I'm not really the greatest fish keeper or YouTuber or any of that stuff, although I'm enjoying it. It's you guys that make a difference for me.
Well, I don't want to use backbone of the Fish Fam because that's a lot of different people, but you are definitely a very important, integral part of the Fish Fam, and it wouldn't be what it is without people like you. So thank you. All right,
Oh,
let's
thank you.
let's get into this. Let's get into this. First of all, you currently live in Kentucky.
Yes, I do. I
Okay.
live in rural, if I say that right. I've got that southern accent, so that rural Kentucky.
roll, roll, roll. Um,
Rural.
and have you lived in Kentucky? I know you've lived in other places, but are you Kentucky born and raised? Is that home? That's always been home?
I'm I'm actually from South Carolina. I was born in Columbia, South Carolina, born and raised.
Okay.
I met my husband when I was 19 years old. And he was a power line worker, but he was from Somerset, Kentucky, which is on Lake Cumberland here. We're about 2 hours away from Nashville, about 3 hours away from Louisville, kind of in between there. Oh, sorry, my phone is beeping. Um, and we moved here in 1990 to raise our children, and we had a farm for a long time. Excuse me. We had 45 acres. I raised horses and worked as a veterinary technician and went to college. I went to college to be actually a nurse, but I couldn't get away from the veterinary field. I
Gotcha.
loved, helping animals. That's my
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So, and Kentucky is obviously home. Do you
Yeah,
ever miss South
Kentucky's so
Carolina that
cool.
much? I mean,
No,
sometimes. No, not at
Kentucky,
all.
I've been here for 30 years. Then I moved away from for 3 years when I went through some of my things I went through. I moved to Virginia with my daughter who was in the Navy. We lived there for 3 years, and then last year we moved back to Kentucky. So I'm glad to be here.
Excuse me. And
You're
again, I
fine.
apologize in advance to everybody in the chat. I will. I still got a cough. Just can't get rid of that cough. So I
Oh,
apologize.
it's
It is going to happen.
aggravating. It
And
is.
Mary, you said you have it a little bit too, right?
Oh, yes. So we may have a cough off.
That'll be the best stream ever.
Right.
So you touched on a little bit about the work history there, but what was the first thing you did when you were a kid? Did you have a job as a kid? Did you, or were you raised on a farm or something like that? Or talk us through that.
Okay. I was actually born a city kid, and my parents thought I was switched at birth. They didn't know what to do with me because they couldn't keep me out of the woods. They couldn't keep me out of the mud puddles. They couldn't keep me out of the creeks. And when I was about 5 years old, we moved to the Broad River in South Carolina, and it was heaven. Like, I found musk turtles and painted turtles. I love turtles, first of all. That was my first love in, any kind of aquatic life.
Yeah.
My grandfather was a big fisherman. He'd always take me hunting and fishing with him, and he taught me, the woods kind of stuff. And I found all kind of turtles, and my grandfather helped me buy aquariums when I was like 5, 6, 7 years old. He also bought me biology kits. Like, I wanted to be a scientist. I had a little playhouse out back, and I had my biology kits. I even wanted to be and this is terrible, but I wanted to be a taxidermist.
And how old were you when you wanted to be a taxidermist?
I was like 6 years old. I was going to be a taxidermist because first thing, when I was 5, I caught a 10-pound bass with my grandfather, and that was the most exciting day of my life. And I've even got it mounted. I still have the actual 10-pound bass mount. Wow. Now, today, I wish I had that 10-pound bass in a pond, like keeping it for a friend. Yeah. But I just thought I've always been interested in anything to do with animals, or, I don't know what it was. I've always had that. My grandfather recognized that in me. So he really encouraged me.
He had it too.
Yes, and he had like,
bug. Yeah.
Yes, he had like encyclopedias. I didn't, back then we didn't have the internet and all this Google stuff and all that stuff, which, oh my gosh, but it made us work a little harder. We went to the library. We went to the encyclopedias. We would go and talk to people. I got really lucky when I was 6 or 7 years old. We had a riverbank zoo in South Carolina, which was a big zoo that came in, and the actual zoo director lived next door to me. And I was in heaven. Like, I drove that man crazy. I stayed over there all the time. I wanted to know about the turtles and the snakes and the fish and the monkeys. I wanted to know about all that stuff.
Yeah. So you just always had that affinity. You've always had that affinity for,
right.
And that's great. You had somebody like your grandpa to, that recognized and could nurture that spark, like that. That's
really amazing. Did. Because my parents were not nurturing like that. They thought they were city folks. They were bankers. My mom was like the vice president of Wachovia Bank. My dad was an investment banker. We had to live like fancy and had to be this and that. And I just never fit into that kind of whatever they were wanting. They like tried to set me up with these, I don't know, whatever kind of guys when I was growing up, and I didn't like them. I met my husband. He was from Kentucky. He was country, and I liked him.
I think the word you're looking for is respectful.
Right.
Respectable. Not respectful, respectable. Right. Those damn respectable people.
Right. You got it.
And thank you, Bob Kaler, for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Bob. Mwah. I'm not looking at the chat. I'm trying not to look at chat. So you guys just
stay away from it. You'll get distracted.
Plus, I can't see.
What about your grandkids and kids and stuff? Did any of them really have that same nature feel that you did? Did you get to play the role of your grandpa for any of them?
I'm just now kind of getting started on that. My oldest grandson is 8. Then I have a 5-year-old. Then I have a 6-year-old. Then I have twin 3-year-olds. I have a little baby that was born after. Well, some people know my story. I lost a grandbaby last year. Yeah. We had a new little grandbaby born a couple of months, or not a couple months ago. She's 6 months old now, and I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see, like, I've set up an aquarium in their house, and they're like the snails and the fish and all that stuff. Now I'm a big horse lover too. I've always been a big horse enthusiast. So I'm hoping somehow to get another horse and teach them how to ride, and
Yeah.
so it's just now starting because I've been here for a year, and I went through some troubles in my past and I wasn't quite around all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm starting to see the nature, and they're wanting to learn and go to the woods with me and
Yeah.
find turtles and different things. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm so thankful to be that kind of grandma that
Yeah.
has that kind of,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go
Yeah.
find some
Yeah.
mudstiples and let's go do some stuff.
Yeah. That's amazing too, because not to sound sexist, but it's usually the grandpas. It's usually not the grandmas.
Right.
But I
Right.
think that that's changed, in the last, generation, couple generations, that has changed, and women do get to do a lot more of that kind of stuff and be
Oh,
themselves
yeah.
a little bit more. And I'm jealous too, because I believe that I might be a little bit older than you. I don't know. Maybe we're close to the same age. I think I'm older
Okay.
than you,
How
but
old are you? Let's just go ahead and spill it.
we don't need to talk about that. But I have no grandkids. I was just talking about that today. I don't have a
Oh,
single
wow.
grandchild, and I do have
Oh,
adult children. I have three who are all three in committed relationships or
yeah.
married, and I don't have a single one. So I'm very
It's
jealous.
coming.
And
It's coming.
you need to stop hogging them all, because I want to have some too. Garcia
Well,
Aquatics, thank you for that $5 super chat. I
thank you,
appreciate that.
Garcia. I'm 54. I'll go ahead and admit it because
I am
I
older than
think
you.
oh no, you
Yeah,
are
quite a
not.
bit.
You
Quite a bit.
can't be quite a bit. No. Well,
Anyways,
anyways,
yes, and I do not have
we'll
any.
just
So
go on.
so
Go to the
stop
next thing.
stop taking them all.
Okay.
But you didn't get into early work and stuff. So job wise, did you have any jobs? It sounds like with very well-to-do parents that maybe you didn't have those types of jobs. Did you?
Well,
Go
I
ahead.
was so different from my parents. I always had a strong force that was driving me to be in the animal, in that type of whatever. So when I was 16, excuse me, I decided, I wanted to be a veterinarian. I never made it to being a veterinarian, don't get me wrong, but I did go into the veterinary technician thing. And back then they kind of grandfathered you on into it. Now you got to go to school and all that stuff. So I was trained by very good veterinarians. I even became a surgical technician, and I worked on all kind of animals. I was a veterinarian for 20 years. And I worked at several different, I started off in South Carolina working for veterinarians. And then I worked at a big horse farm, which was a Hanoverian farm, which are horses that come from Germany. They like fly them in, they're licensed. I mean, this
They're
barn
big,
was like,
aren't they?
yeah.
Big
Oh,
horses too. Yeah.
they're the ones that they do like the jumping horses, like the
Oh,
Olympic type
okay.
jumping
Uh-oh, we lost you.
horses,
There, you came back.
stadium jumpers and dressage horses. So I got into that because that's my original and biggest addiction there ever was horses. I was meant to have horses all my life, and my parents just would not let me have a horse. It wasn't until my grandfather died that he left the money and
Oh, we're losing you,
said,
Mary.
get that child a
You're
horse.
freezing off and
And my
on.
parents told me if I ever came to them needing money to take care of a horse. Oh, I'm sorry. It's
That's
my
okay.
internet,
Hey,
y'all.
it
I'm so
happens. It
sorry.
happens. It's
But
not a problem. I just wanted to
they
make
told
you
me,
aware of it.
okay, they told me if I ever needed help with animals or horses or anything, they would not support me. I was told that as a young
That's
person.
just a
So guess what? I went to work and
yeah,
I said, you know what? Y'all don't have to. I'm going to support myself.
yeah.
And that led me on my mission, which led me into aquariums and pet stores and, veterinarians and different things. So
Gotcha.
that's just my calling in life. I've always had a calling to be there
Yeah,
for animals. It just is the way it is.
gotcha.
And I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're thankful for that too, because it brought you to us. So,
It did.
so you worked in all different types of fields related to keeping animals, though. And did you
Yes,
work at some fish stores and aquarium stores or pet stores and stuff too?
I
At some
did.
point? Nice.
Uh, the veterinarians I worked for in the 90s, I had already had like two kids. I was pregnant with my third child, and they sent me to actually to grooming school, like to become a dog groomer.
Gotcha.
They saw that I had a talent with animals, and I don't mean that to sound braggy. I just had a talent with animals, and they wanted me to run their kennel. And well, they were talking to me about being a veterinary technician, and back then we were kind of like just trained by vets. We didn't have all the school like they do today. And they said that I was wanting to quit to become a nurse is what I was going to do, because I
Hmm.
was really looking for a field to go into. And they were like, you know what? If we send you to veterinary, or not to veterinary, I'm sorry, to grooming school, would you be willing to run our kennels and grooming department? And just like, we'll build you a place, we'll fix it up, and you just run the whole thing. And of course, I was like 25 years old. I was like, well, heck yeah, I'll do it. So they sent me to grooming school, and I learned all the ropes to the business as far as, how to run it and how to actually groom 10 to 15 dogs a day. And I went, and I ended up having like a partnership with the veterinarians I worked for.
Nice.
So yeah, it was really cool. And during that time, I was also showing horses, and I had a pet store uh, contact me, and they wanted to know if I would do some grooming, and they were going to pay me. But instead, I walked into that pet store, and they had aquariums everywhere. And I was like, I like the barter system. Let's do some, let's do some
Yeah.
training. So that's what first started me on my journey with aquariums. Now, I had turtles and stuff, like I said, when I was growing up, but like I had never seen, when I was little, my granddad used to take me to pet stores, and I'd see all the fish and everything, but I didn't really know a lot about them. But when I worked at that pet store, like there was a discus tank, and there were planted tanks, and there was this and there was that. And I got this vision in my mind, like I wanted that in my house. I
Yeah.
wanted a row of aquariums with all different kind of fish, and but I didn't really know enough. But it helped me get started. I had like two 75 gallons. I had a couple of 55s. Then they took out all their, you remember the old metal framed aquariums that
Yep.
had the little metal frames?
Yep.
They took
Had
out,
those.
they had like 15-gallon aquariums lined up on a wall. Well, they switched them over to like 20-gallon longs or something, and they got rid of all those tanks, and I brought them home with me. So in my living room, I had all these aquariums just lined all the way around my living room, and I brought home anything and everything. And unfortunately, I didn't know quite enough to be housing the different fish I
Gotcha.
kept, like
Yeah.
especially cichlids. I just thought cichlids were beautiful. And if it said cichlid on the tag, I was bringing it home. So I had like Jack Dempsey's and Mabunas, and oh, I had everything mixed together. And I had them in there with Cory cats, which that didn't work out too well, you know, and all kinds of stuff. But
Yeah.
I did keep a successful discus tank, and I
Nice.
kept it for 3 years with the help of the people that owned it. I had like it was like a peat moss filtration system with
Oh, gotcha.
FX something running outside and all that stuff. I'm sorry, I don't know all the
That's okay.
technicalities. I feel
That's
like
okay.
I've started over again,
This is
but
all
I
about
did.
you, not about the fish part of it. So don't worry about
But
knowing all that.
I did a pretty good job until I had a heater fail, and I lost all my fish, and it
Yep.
kind of made me give up for a little while.
Yep. I understand. That happened to me as well. That was the first thing that happened to me. And luckily now there's controllers, heater controllers that can help,
Right,
stop that from occurring. I mean, there's, things can still fail, but at least that lowers your chances of losing your fish. So
right.
I have controllers on every tank that has a heater on it now.
Yes.
But back then, maybe they didn't have those types of controllers and stuff.
No, they didn't. And like since I've started my hobby again, I've kept mostly, well, the thing was I'd lost my freedom for a little while because of, some troubles. I did suffer from addiction for 20 years, and I lost my freedom for a while. And when I got out, I went through a lot of treatments and stuff like that. a friend of mine noticed that I didn't have any fish anymore. And she was like, you don't have any fish. And she brought me a betta. And a betta to me was something you won at the fair. Like you won it in the ping pong throw,
Yeah, that's a
and
goldfish. And
they didn't live but like 5 or 6 months because I didn't know. But that is what led me to YouTube. Like I got this betta. She brought me a betta one day and she brought me this little tank that had like you pour the water in it and it overflows and changes the water out. Not but a half a gallon. It just looked miserable. It
oh,
looked miserable to me. And so I started watching people like KG Tropicals, Aquarium Co-op, Primetime Aquatics, Chris, Fish for Thought, different people. And I started picking up little things along the way. And I was like, you know what? I need a 5-gallon tank, and that's what kind of got the ball rolling.
yeah. You are freezing again, too, honest.
And then I started buying like Jason from Primetime Aquatics said, you don't know how to grow plants, get some more for it. Oh, shoot.
That's okay. Again, but it's funny because when you come back from being frozen, you go into like super fast mode. You're moving like really fast.
I'm sorry. Listen, again, we got an internet. We got an internet booster, and it's not. I don't know what we've done. We don't know.
It's not horrible. It just every once in a while, I might have to re-ask you a question every once in a great while because we missed it. That's all. It's not horrible. Most of the time, it's great. How long ago did your issues occur? I mean, I don't want to say with addiction because that's something that's the rest of your life. But
I'm very open with it.
When were you out? When did you get your freedom back? How long ago was that?
I got my freedom back in 2000. Wait a minute, let me count. 2017 is when I went into the last intensive treatment. So in 2019, I got out.
Okay.
So it's 22, but August 17th, 2019 is when everything got, like I quit. Everything stopped.
Okay.
I was back in 1990, or I'm sorry, back in 2002 or 2000 or 2002, I was part of the opiate epidemic where we all got prescribed. You could walk in there with an elbow hurting and they gave you, whatever.
Yes.
And I was prescribed, and I'll be honest, Oxycontins. And before it was over with, within a couple of months, I was being prescribed 3 40-milligram Oxycontins a day at 32 years old with 3 children. And the only thing I knew about medication back then was that my mom and all them had always told me, if the doctor prescribes it, you take it, you know.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand. And I also had a hysterectomy at the same time. So I didn't understand that, like, I thought my problems, like I was having night sweats and I was having this and that and the other. I thought it was from having a hysterectomy, and really what it was withdrawals. I was sick and didn't know it. So it took many years to really get it under control and figure out what the heck was going on with me.
Yeah.
I had doctors telling me, you're in that much pain, just take the medicine, and not realizing what I was doing to myself.
Yeah. You thought you were doing everything right. You were.
Yeah.
You thought you weren't doing anything, and it. So how did? And again, if we get too deep, you always just say pass. But I know you've always said, and you've talked about this before.
Yeah, I don't mind.
You're very open, and I appreciate that because there are a lot of people out there who have been.
Oh, there's a lot of people struggling.
Yeah,
or
you can be inspirational.
The guilt and shame of it, it carries a lot of guilt and shame, especially when you know better. When you get hooked on that.
You inspire people when you talk about those types of issues.
That's fine with me.
So how did you lose your freedom? What happened to cause you to lose your freedom?
So I got wrapped up into a game, as they call it, okay, so I'm getting prescriptions and people start noticing I'm getting prescriptions, other addicts or whatever. And they're like coming to me saying, oh, I've got a hurt back. I've got this. If you don't need those, I'll take them, that kind of stuff. Back then I was only taking like maybe when I got my prescriptions, I'd only take like half of what I was half of what I was dosed, because it's not only going through that addiction yourself, but you get kind of addicted to the friends and the money that want to come through, and like, I'll take all those off your hand. And I got caught up in that. I'm not a drug, I wasn't a dealer, but it turned into kind of that scenario. And before it was over with, I had like lots of people coming to me, and I was in that trading game, and it turned into a total racket. It did. And when it all ended up, what ended up getting me in trouble, and I don't know if I should tell this whole thing, but you can look on my whatever. You can look me up. I've got some terrible mug shots out there.
Well, now I want to go look at your mug shots. But
like,
again,
I've got a mug shot where my hair is totally black and I'm like white and I look like death. But it turned into, even the things that I wouldn't normally do, I would do to get what I needed to do. Does that make sense? I don't know if you want me to say what I did, but
you say as much as you want to, whatever you feel comfortable. That's it.
I even had charges with methamphetamine, and that embarrasses me today. But if you see my last mugshot, you'll understand. It's really bad. But what it was is, I wanted opiates. I wanted stuff like that. And what I did was, I was trading off. Like, somebody would give me that and I would trade it off to get this. And I got caught. Yeah. I don't think I've ever told this on a stream. I actually got set up by a informant and a friend of mine who we did stuff together, and she made a buy on me and I got caught. I mean, I got completely caught. But the thing was, when I got called, I didn't deny it. I just went ahead and accepted it. And I was like, I'm sick. I need help.
Yeah.
And it worked there. And I remember the judge, my mom had told me she was sick. When all this was going on, I was very close to my mother, and still breaks my heart because I lost my mother during all this. She called me right before I got in trouble, and she told me she had liver cancer. It had metastasized into her spine and into her lungs. My mother never drank. She never did anything. She smoked. She was a smoker, but she never did other stuff. And she was a banker for Wachovia Bank. And I remember standing in front of that judge that day and telling him, my mom's dying from cancer. And he said, you should have thought about that before you did drugs. And there was nothing I could do.
No.
And that'll make me cry. You said we were going to cry. I'll cry.
I told you it was going to be a tearjerker. I knew it. I almost did. I kept it. I held it back.
That was a harsh reality. Like, it was so harsh. And because everybody kept saying, oh, your mom's dying, they're going to let you out, they'll let you go to her this, and no, they didn't let me out.
And it's horrible to say, but he was right.
Right.
And he needed, I think if they
I needed that hard love at that time. I don't know if he loved me, don't get me wrong.
No,
loved me. But it was that harsh reality that really made me. And see, I was still living in that thing. Like, I'm a good person. I'm not this bad. But I was that bad. I was that bad. I had lost my family. I had lost my mother, my mom. And I'm sure the stress of what I was doing made it worse for her. You know what I mean? It made it worse for her. And when it was all said and done, I ended up losing her while I was locked away. And I promised to myself and her up above, I believe in heaven, and I think she's up there watching down on me. I promised her I would never return back to that life, no matter what, because I got caught up in something that was, I didn't know what addiction was. I didn't know that was, it was a disease, or that I had this or that. I just thought it was a choice, but I couldn't stop. I could not stop. I couldn't.
You know how many stories like that are out there? The exact same thing, people who had something real happen to them where they needed medications, and that's what they ended up in.
Yeah.
I know for a fact the guy who owned this house before me, same thing. He was a logger. He
Yeah.
hurt his back while logging, started taking all this stuff. Yeah, he died. He died.
Yeah,
Uh,
he died. That's a big
from all of
thing.
that, and it's all the same stuff.
And the other thing is, you don't realize what is going on in your life that leads you to that. Like, I didn't think about like trauma I'd been through as a child. My dad was abusive. I'm not wanting to get off on that tangent or anything, but I went through a lot of abuse, not with me necessarily, but what he did to my mother in front of me. He was a very strict and and I know a lot of people share the same story, but I didn't realize how much that kind of stuff affected me. And and my husband at the time was a serious alcoholic, like really bad. My husband, Calvin, who I'm married to today, he's in recovery. He was a horrible alcoholic, like really bad. And I honestly don't know how we made it, but we did.
Yeah,
He got
you're here
treatment. I
today.
got treatment. We went through it all. Like we tested every vow there is to marriage. We tested it all. But
It's got to
what?
be. I have to imagine that today, and after I say this, I want to touch on what Alex just said here too, because it's a super chat. I don't want that to go away.
Oh, Alex, love you.
Yeah, Alex, just like so many others, just awesome.
Alex has
I
helped
have to
me
think
through some serious times.
Alex has been through some scary stuff, so yeah, he's definitely
Yes,
helped.
he has.
I have to imagine that today, though, you have probably one of the strongest marriages in existence because of
Oh,
everything that
wow.
you've been through. I just have to imagine that that's the case.
Yes.
Just because a lot of people have it easy, they don't run into all these different things, and they don't know how to
No.
weather the storms. And any little thing that comes up, it's the end of the world. You've been through
Oh,
so
yeah.
much that I've got to imagine that is just rock solid. There's just
Oh, my
nothing
gosh. My
bulletproof.
husband, and I'm going through a lot with my husband right now. Like, I'm watching the man that I married when I was 19. He's crippled. Like, he ripped his arm off when he worked for the power company. He can't hardly walk. His knees are gone. He broke his neck. I mean, he's just, I don't want to say he's not like, I don't mean nothing like he's half the man he used to be or something like that. I don't mean that, but he's in bad shape.
Yeah.
And it scares me. It really scares me. And this community has reached out to me, and so many people just, send me like messages on Messenger and different things, and just talk to me and just are there. And they don't care about any of that stuff.
No.
They just, you know what I mean? That's what's so beautiful.
Yeah.
And when I came into this community like 2 years ago, I had to really think about this. It's been 2 years since I came into this community. And at the time, that was when I first got my freedom back. I was basically in a situation where I didn't even know if my kids were going to take me back. You know what I mean? They weren't even sure that they could trust their own mother. Yeah. They'll tell you today that I was a good mother. I was 32 before this stuff happened. They had a good mother, but then they'll also tell you that their mother got lost, like completely lost. And I remember one of my daughters telling me when I was calling her from I hate to say jail, but and she was like, "Mom, are you grooming us? Like, are you just conditioning us to say you're doing okay, but you're just going to come out and do the same thing?"
Rip your heart out.
It beyond. Yeah. I mean, beyond. And my therapist told me, she was like, "You've got to expect this." And I'm like, does nobody remember the 32 years before I got in that shape? What happened to that person?
Yeah.
Just remember that person. But that's the way it is. It's just the way it is. And you have to prove yourself. And that's okay. Because you know what? If you're doing right, you're walking the chalk, and you're really going forward, you will prove yourself.
Yeah.
It will pass.
Just to lighten the mood a little bit, I have to bring up a joke that I remember hearing.
Please tell me a joke.
So this guy, he's in a bar, and somebody comes up to him and says, "Are you McGregor?" Oh, no. You know what? I can't remember the beginning part. The end of it is, "But you do one sheep." That's the punchline. I'm not going to go through the rest of it. You guys can put together the rest of it. But I want to read what Alex said here again. This is so important to talk about. Thank you, Mary. I love you and stand with you.
Love
You
you,
help so many
Alex.
people.
Alex has helped me more than you guys even know. Back in the beginning when I came into YouTube, Alex was one of the first people that reached out to me and said, you know what? You're not alone.
Yeah.
And I appreciate him for that. It's
And
been
that's what he
my
says. You've helped so many people, both in addiction and daily recovery. 13 years, thanks to fish keeping, nature, and my wife and Mary. Hugs.
yes.
And you know, I say that I'm not going to read the super or the chat, but I
Oh,
don't want the
do it.
super chats to go away. That's all. We
No.
are more than halfway through, but I still have more questions for you. Bex
Okay.
gave a $10 super chat. Thank you again. We love you, Mary
Thank you,
Paige. You are
Max.
such an inspiration to so many people, including my family. Me, love, hugs, and blessing you, you beautiful woman.
Love you,
So,
Bex. And I missed her live stream. She had a birthday live stream,
I did too.
and I just started a job. And I
That's
mean,
where
I've
we're
been a
going to go.
total flake. I've been a flake.
That's
But I
okay.
love you, Bex. Thank you.
I missed it as well. I was sick. I wasn't feeling good, and she understands. We talked, but that's where I wanted to go next. So, you came back. You found the fish fam, and again, you're one of the you are the most supportive person in the fish fam, and I'll say it to your face, as John likes to say.
Say it to my face.
I'll fight anybody about that. Mary Page is the most supportive person in the fish fam, hands down. And but correct me though, because don't you normally go by just Paige?
I do, actually. I do go by Paige. I
I
was
thought
called
so.
Paige by my parents.
Yeah.
The Mary Page actually came from being part of the prison system.
Okay.
They called me Mary Page. I got used to it. I went through years of it. And when I set up my YouTube channel, I don't know, I just set up Mary Page. But now I had my grandmother that called me Mary Page. And it was kind of
Okay.
like a country thing, like, Mary
Yeah.
Page, you better be
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I'm honored to be called that because of
Okay.
my grandmother.
Okay. Because I
But
was going to
like,
change when I just heard you say jail. I was going to start just calling you Paige again. But okay, you've got some history there, and it's okay. All
but
right.
yeah, Mary Page is great, and I have
Okay.
embraced it. But now, for a little while there, I was kind of mad about it because every time I went somewhere, Mary Flynn, number 266, and I
Yeah, you
had
didn't want
that
to hear any
state
more of that.
number. I had that state number attached to me.
Yeah, you don't want that. You don't want that. We've been calling her by her prison name. And funny enough, my prison name was also Mary Page.
We look just alike, only different.
So you started a new job. What are you doing now? How did you? Tell us about that?
Oh, so I have been I am considered disabled. And I'll be honest, I don't think I've ever told this on a stream. I might go ahead and just tell it now.
Be comfortable. Don't tell us things you
Okay.
don't pressure.
Well,
no pressure.
I've never really told anybody about my health issues. And I'm not a drinker. Okay, don't get me wrong. I'm not a drink, but my pain medicine usage and different things, I basically have cirrhosis, just like somebody who has been an alcoholic all their life. The last time they did like a fibro scan on me, and it's rated from like 1 to 5. Okay. So if you're a 1, you're not bad. What it is scarring of your liver.
Okay.
So should I just go ahead and tell this? I'm just going to tell y'all so y'all understand when I feel bad. I don't care anymore. I want y'all to know because y'all are my family. Okay. So the last time I got checked, I was at a fibro score of a 4, which means I've basically got cirrhosis. Even though it's not from drinking, it's from acetaminophen, believe it or not. Taking pain medicines, and most pain medicines are mixed with acetaminophen. Yeah. So I have some serious issues with my liver. But now, also, my mother died from liver cancer, and she never took anything. So there's a history of what they call hemochromatosis, which is, if y'all ever notice, like my neck is real white right here. and I'm red down here. I'm real splotchy looking. It looks like I have like the Michael Jackson disease, like
We don't see it. It doesn't.
okay,
I've
well
never
that's good.
noticed. Yeah, it doesn't come through.
Anyway, I'm like real patchy. Like I've got
You look
white
beautiful to me.
patches. Oh, good. Well, that's all that matters. But that's why I love YouTube. No, y'all think I'm just fantastic. All right.
Well,
No, I'm just.
you are. So,
But I do have some serious things going on, but now wait a minute before I get all negative and stuff. The liver is an amazing organ. It can regenerate. You know, it can with good diet and organic eating and all that kind of stuff. When I came out of prison, my oldest daughter, who I hadn't talked to in years, said, Mom, I want you to come home to me. She has been studying herbal and holistic medicines. She went to college. She was in the Navy, and she put me on a strict diet, supplements, you know, doing everything. I was like her guinea pig. And she has worked really hard with me to get me to where I am today. So I'm not discouraged at all. But there are times that I have a hard time like getting up on live streams, or I have a hard time doing things because sometimes I just don't want to get out of bed.
yep.
But
I'm with you.
as far as my health wise, I'm good. I don't have any diseases or nothing like that. It's just, well, except for the hemochromatosis and the cirrhosis. And, but I feel in my heart, I'm getting better. I think I'm getting better. And then a couple of months ago, they said I had a stroke. Yeah. They said it was like a Bell's palsy thing. And I never noticed it until I watched some of my videos. I noticed like half my mouth went, I was like,
Bell's
what the
palsy.
heck?
Yeah.
So
my wife had that too. And that was scary when it happened. It's actually related to like shingles and the chicken pox.
It's scary.
Right? Yeah.
It's scary.
We thought it was a stroke, but luckily it wasn't.
Exactly.
Alan Tooth, hey there. Alan Tooth. I know Alan's always in your streams. He gave $5 super
Alan is my bestest buddy. I love Alan so much. Mwah. He is my friend, y'all. Me and Alan talk every day. And Al Wet Socks and Roxanne and Chris Stubbings. That's another one.
Don't forget people. That's what's dangerous about saying names like that, because there's
Jimmy
so
P,
many of them. Jimmy P's here. I see Jimmy.
Stephen, Kelly, Foreman. Oh my God. If I could just name off all of you that have made such a difference. Stan, Father Fish. I mean, whether you love him or not, Father Fish changed the whole hobby for me. He really did. 2 years ago, I was making comments in his videos, and he was like, why don't you come up and sit with me on stream and just help me not miss not miss questions. So I was like, Father Fish, I know nothing about computers. I don't know nothing about live streaming. He said, all you got to do is just sit there and just like, here's my phone, read it. And he's the one that got me started with like getting back out there with people. So I love Father Fish for that. And he also taught me the deep substrated system. Like, I don't really know a lot about all kind of different fish, but I know how to set up an aquarium to where I can keep basically whatever kind of fish I want. But luckily, or for the lucky bettas, they get my aquariums.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
Oh, I thought you froze on me.
I think it was you. Maybe it is me. Maybe it is happening on my side. I
no,
think
it was
you.
me.
Okay.
I guarantee it was me. I'm in rural Kentucky, y'all.
Excuse me again. I apologize so much for the cough. Okay, so what did you? So you talked about disability and stuff, and again, I totally understand. Been through it myself. I did retire a couple of years early. But you said you just recently started a job. What are you doing now?
Oh, yeah. See, I'm still a little bit fruity, I go all over the place. And that's okay. I'm a little burnt. Even my boss said that.
A little burnt.
So there's like where I live, there's only like 3 places you can work. There's a gas station, There's a Dollar General, and there's like a little general store, and they sell everything, even like beer and whatever, because we are in a moist county. I hate that word, but I just said it. We're
Okay.
in a moist county.
Yeah.
So this guy calls me out of the blue and just says, I really like your personality. Would you think about cashiering? So I'm
Wow.
thinking, well, it's about 30 minutes away from me. I was like, well, I could cashier for a couple of hours a day. Well, now that I've got there, he's like hung on to me. He wants me to manage it. He wants me to do bookkeeping. He wants me to do accounting. And I'm like, and at first he was like, he believed in me at first, and then he saw how goofy I was, and then he was like, you really need to get your head out your you know what. And and I said, dude, I'm burnt. And I told him my history, and he was like, oh, that makes sense. And he gave me another chance, and now he loves me. So I'm like running the whole store.
Wow.
And it's only been like 3 weeks. So,
Well, just
but
like your grandfather, he saw
yeah,
something in you that he wanted
saw
to
something
nurture.
in
And
me.
yeah,
One
yeah,
thing I'm sure, I'm honest. I really am an honest person. I was never like somebody that wanted to rob people or do things like that. I
yeah,
hurt myself before I hurt other people. Like I would trade off everything in my own house to get what I needed. That's how
yeah,
bad it was. And that's another thing, where we've started over, like it's kind of refreshing. At first it was very depressing to lose. Like I lost my farm. I had a 45-acre farm. I had 14 horses. Um, I had 2 homes, and it's all gone. It's all gone because of my mess ups. So now I'm living in a camper. And I don't have, this is what I have. What
yeah,
you see here is what I
yeah.
have. And even though it hurts me to lose like some of my memorabilia and things and my
It,
trophies from horseback riding,
yeah,
and
I can see that. It's
it's
all stuff,
it's
though, right? It's all
yeah,
stuff.
it's all stuff. And
You have
that's
your relationships with your family back. You have
right.
all those important things that are real.
Exactly. And it makes you, it kind of brings you to a true humbleness that, you know, I know life is, I was always brought up to be like keeping up with the Joneses, as they say. My
Yeah.
mom and dad always had to have the biggest and the best and this and that. And I was a real disappointment to them, according to them. But,
Their
but
loss.
yeah, but when it comes down to it, this is all I need. I've got my own little place. It's me and
Yeah.
my husband. I've got my fish. I've got 7 cats. That was not supposed to happen. And I have 4 chihuahuas living in a camper. And we're
Yeah.
doing great.
And you're happy. You
And
can
we're
see
happy.
it, Mary. You can see it. You can see
We're
that
happy.
you are happy. I mean, we all have our ups and downs, but you can
Oh, yeah.
generally tell when somebody is putting on a front and when somebody
Right.
is at a
And
decent point in their life, and we
and
can see
listen,
that with you.
I suffer from some serious anxiety. There are days that like y'all won't see me for a couple days, and I get to the point where I almost give up. Like I give up a lot, but not really. But I'll give up. Like in my head, I'll fight with myself.
Yeah.
I suffer with depression, anxiety, and PTSD for what I did to myself. And I think to myself, gosh, look at all the other people that are going through the same thing. So I try to turn it around and say, you know what, you can make it. You can do this.
Yeah.
Just keep on keeping on. That's all I can say. And I
Yeah.
hear my dog outside barking, and nobody will let her
You
in.
want to check? You can go check. I mean, if you need to, that's
Please
fine.
hold on.
Yeah, yeah. Do what you got to do. Thanks everybody for joining us. There's currently 80 people in here. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Trying not to cry because I knew this was going to be one of those with
Oh
Mary.
yeah, I'm crying.
Um,
I'm actually crying.
well, see, that's what makes it so much easier, though, doesn't it? When you
It
feel
does.
that way, you have that anxiety, you have those bouts of depression, but you know that you got so many people here who got your back.
Yeah. And the thing
Makes
is,
a world
and
of difference.
that's like some of my videos I've done, like I really thought this is going to be a mistake. Like I'm going to just sit down and tell people what's going on. And maybe I shouldn't. But you know what? Those videos are the ones that have touched people and helped them
Yeah.
through. and I get so many stories shared back with me. I mean, just people, it may not even be about them. It may be about a loved one they're keeping that's sick. It
Yeah.
may be about losing someone. It somehow it just all comes in and relates to each other. And I want my channel, and when people come into a live stream that I'm in, feel free to tell me what's going on. There's nothing that can shock me. There's
Yeah.
nothing. I might
Yeah.
could shock you, but hopefully, you know what I mean. But and I was brought up as a classy chick. I don't know what I am now. Now I'm just a country bumpkin.
Oh, you're
But I
still a classy chick.
uh, but there's nothing you can tell me. I don't care how bad it is, how down you are. If there's something, just by telling me something that's really bothering you, you can reach me on Facebook under Paige Flynn, Paige Flynn, on Messenger. I'd throw my phone number out there. I don't care. Just I don't care what it is,
Yeah.
because I feel like that's what I need to do to help other people. And it's, you help yourself when you, and I don't mean it to sound like I want to just help others to help myself. It's
No,
not like that.
I
But
get it.
yeah, but when people share stuff with you and you don't feel alone,
Yeah.
that's what makes the difference.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I carried a lot of guilt and shame and thought to myself, who's ever going to talk to me again? I've been horrible, and then people reach out and say, well, my daughter did this, or my son did this, or my husband, or
Yeah.
my grandpa. You never know. I've had so many people tell me, and there's one in the community, I think she's in chat, said she's a daughter of an addict, and I can imagine what she went through, because I know what my children went through
Yeah.
with
We
me.
can help people like that. Like you said, so many of us, everybody's got something. Everybody, I don't care who you are.
Right.
Everybody's got
It
something.
touches
You're
every
not alone.
family. It
You're not
touches
alone.
everyone. It
And we
used to
can,
be really taboo. It was one
yeah.
of those things that you didn't discuss. Like when
Yep.
I was growing up, like just being an alcoholic, you
Yeah.
didn't discuss that. You
No,
didn't
no.
tell that.
And
If I saw my,
so many
yeah,
people missed out on getting the help from their community because you didn't talk about it. But things need
right.
to be out in the open. They need to be, yeah, they need to be
Yeah.
out.
And now it's like, if you don't reach out and talk to somebody, you'll just,
Yeah.
you got to talk to people. It's
Nobody's
so
alone.
tough. It's
Nobody's alone.
no, you're not alone. That's right. Just reach out, and
Uh,
don't ever feel like you're alone. God, please don't feel like you're alone. I don't care what it is. If you feel like you're teetering, and things are so bad, believe me, we can make it through that day. Just
see,
call me. Just talk
I
to me. Talk to
once
anybody in the fish fam.
I would love for you. Now, I mentioned this to Skipper. Skipper has dealt with
Oh, I love
PTSD in his
Skipper. Hey,
life.
Thomas.
So many people have in their lives. Royal Fish Keeping, Carlos.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen him forever, and he came into a stream last week sometime, and he said he's dealing with some stuff and PTSD.
Yeah.
And I really think, and I mentioned to Skipper that maybe it would be good for him to have a stream about PTSD, because I know
Yeah.
for a fact there's dozens of people
Oh,
that I know about that are dealing with it, and could use that support group. It doesn't have to be just
exactly.
about fish, people. We are the fish
Oh,
fam,
no.
but it doesn't have to be just about fish.
That
Yeah,
fish
we
is
want to
what
talk
brought
about
us
fish.
all together.
Exactly. It's our
Right.
commonality, but there's so much more that we have in common too. So
Right. And I think PTSD, a lot of people don't understand it, but like, I can't even see like a police car drive by. I mean, I completely freak completely out. Like, I can't see it. It
yeah.
can be the littlest thing that's so insignificant to somebody else that can trigger me into a total meltdown. And that's another thing. When I came into this community 2 years ago, I was literally hiding in a room. I was living with my daughter, but I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want people to know me. I moved to Virginia. Whoops, sorry. I moved to Virginia, and that made it better because nobody knew me there. But I was still hiding in my room.
Yeah.
And I started like commenting. I just started thinking to myself, nobody knows me. But I did put my real name out there. That was the dumb part. I should have done something
Yeah.
like, page 3 or something. I don't know. But I did put my real name out there. But I thought, and I've said this before, it's kind of like throwing a message in a bottle. I just would throw out things and I'd just write these long comments. And
Yeah.
oh my God, people think I'm just totally a nut. But I started getting responses.
Yeah.
And it started, to be honest with you, it started on Dexter's World. Dexter's World, I was kind of telling you that before the stream. Dexter's World, I started watching him because of bettas. He's in the Philippines and he was breeding bettas and different things. Now he's gone to a total self-sustaining farm. Like he's trying to reach out to other people that are in a bind financially and stuff, and teaching him how to raise chickens and teach him how to raise quails and, fish and catfish and different things. And I know a lot of people know. You said you didn't know Dexter's World, did you?
No, I didn't. He wasn't familiar to me.
Check out Dexter. Dexter and I are really good friends, and I used to just comment on his videos, and my comments are so long because I feel like like when I watch a video, it's like I talk to them along the video. Like
Gotcha.
Everything that's happened, I make a little comment. And I got over 100 subscribers before I even knew what a subscriber was. These people in the Philippines were subscribing to me and talking to me. And like, God bless you. And I was sharing my farm experience and different animals I'd raised. And that's what started all of it. And then I got into the betta, and then I got into the fish and father fish, and here I am.
I don't remember where the first place I saw you. I don't remember, but I do remember going, wow, this Mary person, she's
I feel like I
nice.
met you maybe the first time would it been in Mark's Shrimp Tanks? No, not Mark's.
Well, I do go there once in a great while. I used to go a lot more than I do these days.
Well, that's what I was saying. I feel like it was. But I thought you were around before me, but we've kind of figured out we were there about the same time, maybe.
I think you said 2 years. So you've actually
about 2 years.
Yeah. Late June will be 2 years since I first started watching fish videos and stuff. So I'm coming up on 2 years. So yeah, you've been around longer. I know that everywhere I go or anytime I mention Mary Paige, they know who you are. Christopher Thought. We talked about you behind the scenes. I don't remember how your name came up, but I was like, I said something about Mary Paige. He goes, "Oh, she is awesome. She always leaves these great comments." And I was like, "Yeah, she does that everywhere."
He was like one of the first people that like really made me see the errors of my way. Like, the Fruity Pebble Gravel and plastic plants. It was something about his commentary. He was so funny, so refreshing, so real, but he really wasn't being mean. He was just like, we could do a little better here, people, but it was something about his, and I got his humor. His humor just really and I was so tickled when I saw him on your stream.
He's a good guy. I like Chris Wayne quite a bit. He's a great
love
guy.
Him.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got a great channel. For anybody who hasn't seen him, we're talking about Fish for Thought. He also has Chris for Thought, and he's just a nice guy, and he's very likable. He's just very likable.
And he's doing a lot of stuff for Aquarium Co-op. Like, what my dream is? My dream is, as goofy as I am, like, I'm hoping I'm like some kind of character. Like, I'm hoping like some kind of editor or something will come along and say, this girl's a wacko and she's really funny. Let's just pick her up and we'll do everything. And she just puts in some video.
I could see it. And,
like the word co-op, I'll represent you. I'm just kidding.
No, that would be great. They're looking for it.
But I represent that kind of, I'm the everyday person that comes into the hobby and just wants to enjoy. I'm sharing what I'm doing and what I'm learning from you guys, and that's pretty awesome.
You're not the everyday person, Mary. You're not. You're above and beyond the everyday person. All of them. There's a whole bunch of everyday people. I'm an everyday person. There's 85 everyday people in here, but you're not one of those.
We're a million strong.
You're up here. We're everyday people. You're Mary.
And then, wait, I haven't even said the main thing. Roxanne, Foxy's Fishes. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we had Aquarium Cop. And Aquarium Cop, if you
Yeah.
folks don't know who he was just a great supporter of so many people in the community. And he told me and Roxanne one day, he was like, I would love to see y'all live stream together. Well, we lost Aquarium Cop. And during the COVID and different things. And it was so heartbreaking. Sorry, I keep kicking my stand because I'm kind of spastic.
You're good.
And I'm so professional. And he meant so much to us. And he was just such a great, contributor to our community. And Roxanne just called me out of the blue one day and she said, we're going to do a stream. And we were kidding around about the Hot Mess Express because I bring the hot, or no, whoa, I bring the mess. She brings the hot because I've always got cats, dogs, kids, something going on in the background. And I was like, Roxanne, I can't do a live stream. And she's like, no, just be yourself. Let it happen. And I was like, okay, you asked for it.
Yeah.
And now we got Dee Dee.
Well, yeah, that's a great addition too. But again, we going back to being genuine and sincere. I think people maybe not always right at first, but I think as time goes on, they can tell when somebody is not genuine and sincere.
Oh,
and you can see that you guys are 100% that, and that's what makes that show so much fun. You're not putting on airs. You're not trying to have anything perfect. No. You're just being yourself and having a good time and sharing knowledge.
Right.
That's all it is. And it's you're right. She is also another person that's just a amazing part of our community.
Is like a super fish and snail nerd. She knows her business, boy. Let me tell y'all, she knows her business. Oh, yeah. Don't let that beauty fool you. She knows what she's doing. And I just sit back and go, yep,
All right. Well, we're actually an hour into the stream, if you can believe that. So
I know.
We're going to keep going, though. I know that Alex is going to in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah, we don't mess up Alex. But
well, we are, though, and I'm sure he understands. We're going to go a little bit longer because I want people in the chat to have their chance. Also, Hippie John, the fisherman, is also he's started right now, unless he pushed it back. I don't know. So there's 2 other streams plus Susan SLC going as well. So just so you guys know, there are other streams going. We're not going to end yet, though, because now's the time. If you guys have questions, and Mary Paige says she's an open book. So if you've got any kind of questions,
go ahead and ask me. Give me the dirt.
Now's the time.
I can't see the chat, though, so y'all go ahead and just read.
I'll feed them to you. I'll feed them to you. Yeah, you're not allowed to look at the chat. That's
okay.
That's how it goes.
I just looked down and saw Dr. Awesome. Hey, Dr. Anthony.
Go ahead, mess up Alex.
That's right.
Alex, I think he can definitely do very well all on his own.
Listen, Alex changed my life. He was one of those people that encouraged me so much. Like I'd be on Father Fish trying to figure out what I was doing, and he'd be texting me behind the scenes like, you're okay, just do it, just go, and that was something special because Alex to me was, and just like a lot of people are, was a movie star. He was like, oh my gosh, the secret history living in your aquarium. Yeah. Alex is talking to me. And then we got talking behind the scenes. He's just so genuine and real and
down to earth.
So freaking smart.
Yep. I feel, I definitely feel an affinity. I think we definitely have a lot of some commonality in our background, Alex.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just a good guy too, and he brings just like so many. We're so lucky. We have people like Dr. Awesome. We have people like
Axe. Oh my gosh, yes,
incredibly smart people just sharing freely the information that is making our hobby. We're taking it on to a different level. People think we have a bad rap. We have a bad rap. YouTube fish people have a bad rap at a lot of local fish clubs. But I think it's changing because of people like Alex, because of people like Dr. Awesome. And we're trying to do that to Keystone Clash. We're trying to let them see what we can bring to the table, All right, here we go. Let's have some questions here. We got Verily Casey. Hi there. She says, what's your favorite comfort food?
My favorite comfort food, oh my gosh, being from South Carolina, my favorite thing is a homemade macaroni and cheese casserole where you take the macaroni and you layer it with sharp cheddar cheese and eggs and milk and cheese and you bake it. That's my
Gotcha.
favorite. And Little
Gotcha.
Debbie Swiss rolls.
Oh yeah, I'm with you on those. They buy those for me way too often here.
Yeah, I love them.
Way too often. This isn't a
I
question, but
love them.
Dr. Awesome says hi, and New Local Austin said, "Mary Paige, I love you." And Myrtle, and this is one that Myrtle's
Hey,
asked. Now I
oh
think
no, here goes
this
the
is our
dogs.
60. Go ahead. That's
Myrtle.
right. I think this is our 63rd interview, and I believe that Myrtle has asked this in just about every one of them. But he wants to know if you could change one thing about me, what would it be? We'll go ahead and answer
What
that, and
is
then I'll
about
answer
Rico? Oh my gosh.
it.
I mean, seriously, I cannot think of a thing. The only thing I could have changed is that I've never done an interview with him, and here we are.
And again, we could have done this a long time ago. And
Right.
it's a two-part question, and mine is what would I change about you? And at first I was thinking, I would change all the pain and suffering that you've gone through in your life.
Yeah, I was
But
thinking about something.
when we do that though, we aren't always the same person. And part of that pain
Right.
and suffering has made you who you are today. But I would have
It
at
changes you.
least changed that you got to see your mom. And I see my signal has dropped.
Yeah, I
It's
see
been
you
doing
kind of
that.
pixelating.
So hopefully the
If I look
audio is
past
still
that,
good.
yeah, your audio sounds good. You're just
Okay.
a little pixelated to me, but my internet's always terrible. And I apologize. I didn't even mention the new tablet from the Fish Fam. Oh my gosh, y'all. You guys, I can't I almost start crying. I can't express to you what
Yeah.
that meant to me. And I'm glad that it's being paid forward to other people in the community. Um, I think I was the first one, and that just blows my mind. You got now, it's not my internet still kind of crappy, but the equipment I'm using, y'all have just like changed my life. I mean, completely. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It was from the whole Fish Fam, but there were a few, on the card that had signed the card that kind of were the ones that got it started. And I just want to thank you guys. And then Roxanne, y'all got Roxanne with it too. And I
I
mean,
was a recipient as well. They got me too. They hit me with a
and Rico,
very
yeah,
nice laptop, a new camera, a new router. They really, and just all the support. I say it every day. I'm just so
like
amazingly
y'all really
lucky,
want to know what I'm saying?
you know.
I still
Yeah,
haven't got the nerve up to live stream by myself yet. But
I
Rico,
think you
your
should.
live stream's great.
I think I
I'm
read the
going to.
chat. I read the
You
chat.
do
That's what
great.
I do.
But you know
um,
what? You're just like what you're telling me. You're real. You're genuine. You really care about what other people are saying, and you share. I mean, what more can you ask for? That's just
well,
it's
I've
incredible.
got to a point in my life where I didn't care. I do care what people think about me. I say,
I do too. I
but I
do.
don't care about. I know when I'm right, and
Right.
I know when I'm doing the right thing. That's what I should say. I know when I'm doing the right thing, and I want
Exactly.
people to just know who I am, and to, just like you said, not to know that you're not alone. I'm having trouble struggling. I'm struggling here getting these words out, but
Oh, I do too.
I just want
But
people
yeah,
to be aware that they're not alone and that there's people out here that care. And the Fish Fam is incredibly important to me.
sure.
So important to me. I can't even begin to talk about it. So
I'm starting to
let's see.
squirm. You see me squirming. I'm like, I love y'all so much.
Stephen P wants to know, and he says, very job interviewee type of question, but where do you
Okay,
see yourself in 5 years? What's your goal in
5
5 years?
years. Let's see. No, I'm just kidding. Well, you know, that's hard to say because it's like my life has just started over right now. Like today, right now, this moment of the day, I have so much hope. Like what you guys have done, what I'm accomplishing in my little camper with my fish room. I hope in 5 years that I have, how do I put it? I'm like already on that journey. Like I'm the mom, I'm the grandma, I'm hopefully a friend to people. I'm learning YouTube. I hope, well, I'll tell you what, I hope in 5 years I know more about the internet and that I can represent what I'm trying to put out there better to you guys. Because I'm really like struggling with that
Yeah.
stuff. Back when I was in the 80s, I missed the whole internet chain or train. I have no idea what I'm doing. But because of you guys, I just hope that I'm still spreading what I'm trying to spread now, and that
Yeah. It's hard to find the
I,
words, isn't it? It's
it's
hard to
hard to
find the
find
words.
the words. It really is because
I get it.
I'm like I'm on that journey right now. Like if you'd asked me that 2 years ago, I wouldn't have believed I was sitting right here where I'm sitting. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
I would have never imagined that I was even like in the public talking to people.
So 5
So
years from now, you just want to be what you're doing right now and still
yeah,
just making even deeper relationships
yes.
and growing.
And
Yeah.
and just and rolling with it and just getting better every day and maybe financially or whatever able to help the next person come along.
Yeah.
I hope that I can give back. Like right now, I'm like Kelly Foreman and Steven and everybody sent me these plants and all this stuff. I'm hoping I get all this stuff established and that I can start sending stuff out to the fish
Yeah.
fam. I also had Carlos, your average fish keeper, send me these rice fish and Vienna guppies from Aquarium Co-op. I hope I'm spreading those. Roxanne and Brian, even Kevin's from Kevin's K9s and Aquatics sent me these. I've been gifted so many. Bob Kaler, Lord, I've had gift cards from Terry's Tropical Takes and Al Wet Socks,
Yeah.
the Fish Fan Flip Aquatics, you name it. I wouldn't be doing any of this without you guys. None
Yeah.
of it. I would probably have a bowl with a bed in it, you know, and well, I'd have two flue ball specs because my family found those for $50 on Facebook. But like Higer, oh my gosh, whoever thought that somebody like me would get an aquarium from Higer? What the heck? But they, you know, they were like, you know what, you're representing like the beginner. Not, I'm not a beginner, but still, I'm a beginner to planted tanks.
Yeah.
And I'm a beginner to like making a video on how to aquascape or set up a tank. And I'm so honored. Like, wow, how did that happen?
Yeah.
When you've got big channels like Hawaiian Fish Keeper or oh my gosh, Alex has done some higher. Chris Stubbs from Stubbs. I mean, Roxanne did some. So many Lefty. Oh my gosh, there's so many people doing Higer videos. Ben Ochart, and I'm in there. What the heck? How did that happen? So I just hope I can still represent just the regular person out there that, you know, our opinion matters too.
Sure.
That, you know, it's not just, I like how Higer has reached out to everyone, like all different aspects into the fish community. And I'm missing a lot of people. There's a lot more people out there
Sure.
than that.
Yeah. It's hard to get everybody. Yeah.
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to put in. But just the fact that like they're really listening to us, you guys. Like if I put out a video about Higer and you've had experience with it and you say, you know what, I had that product and it sucked. They're listening to that. They want to know what it takes to bring us something better. And I'm honored to be part of that. I really am. And now, of course, I don't know all about the like dropping my links and you get something and I get them. I don't know about that kind of stuff. All I'm doing is sharing my experience. You know, it works for me. And if I can do it, you can do it.
And I think in some ways that's even better because it is just real. It's just real. It's just
right.
a regular person just doing.
I don't have like the experience. My experience is from 20 years ago. So I don't have the experience to tell you if a light is compared to a flue ball or a this or, you know, I can compare this Higer Arc Aquarium to a flue ball spec because I've got one.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? I don't have the experience to tell you which filter is the best or this is the best.
Sure.
But I can tell you as a beginner, I got this product and guess what? It's working. I had to work on it.
And there's room for that. There's room for that because we have people like Bentley Pasco who really goes very in depth, you know, and he really you know, he really tells you all kinds of
Right.
stuff about it. And then, so there's
Something
room
is
for people like
fantastic.
us.
Right. But there's,
Here's a $5 super chat from Rack Bird Garden. Says,
hey,
Mary
Rack,
Paige,
Gardens.
what is your dream fish?
My dream fish is an alligator gar.
Really?
I
Wow.
love this.
Just the look of them, the shape of them. What is it
I
about
love
them?
them. It's something about when I was little, my grandfather caught an alligator gar and he had it mounted. And I can still remember being in, he was a x-ray technician back in the early 50s and 60s. And that was a big thing back then.
Yeah,
But he
yeah.
had this alligator gar with a brim mounted in its mouth. And I don't know. I grew up on Lake Murray in South Carolina, and I am a monster fish lover. Even
Yes.
though I keep nano tanks,
Yeah.
I love
You
monster
remember.
fish. Like
You have
I
that
really,
nostalgia.
I love monster fish. Now, as far as a small fish to keep, what do I want? I want to keep discus skin. Like I really want to keep discus skin, like maybe wild caught discus, not just regular discus. I hope that I can, and the wild caught bettas. I'm really enjoying I forgot to mention him, Jay Aquafunk sent me a wild caught. Now I can't say it. I'm going to say it and y'all can laugh, but me and Jay call it a maha chichi. it's a maha Jesus, I don't know.
You're close enough. You're close enough. We know you got it from Aquafun. It was Aquafunk, and it was a wild type.
Oh my gosh, he is so cool. And then I've watched Alex. He's got the beta rubelas. I'm not very good on names. I'm just good at keeping animals alive. I don't know.
They make fun of me. They make fun of me all the time about how I mispronounce different things. It's a constant.
Yeah, and I watched Kasha and Taylor from
yeah.
Sorry.
You look like you're lagging. You look like you're lagging just a little bit. Maybe it's on my side again. Eric Wyrock would like to know what your favorite sandwich is.
My favorite sandwich is a hot turkey and cheese, like I like turkey, cheese, and on like you do it like a grilled cheese. I want it crispy and buttery on that side. Oh gosh,
this is very important. Think it through.
Pepper jack.
Nope, that's incorrect.
Oh, that's incorrect.
Swiss. It's got to be Swiss. Turkey and Swiss.
Okay. Well, yeah, I love Swiss. I love Swiss. So that's good.
I'm getting hungry. There's pizza out there in the living room.
Yeah.
Big M says, Mary, are you having pizza too?
No, but I could have pizza.
We are. They did. They told me there's pizza.
I smell the pizza.
I thought you were having it too. Big M would like to know, he says, Mary, what is the first tank you look at when you wake up? In other words, what is the one tank that you are most excited for? And well, there's a second part to that, but we'll ask that. So out of all your tanks, which is the one that you love the most?
Probably this little tank right here. I really love this tank. And there's a lot of stuff I haven't seen in person, but this has bacopa in it, and I see it starting to grow and sprout. This is like a new sprout off of it. And I just love this tank. It's not the most aquascape tank. It just has some neat plants in it. And I love this little fish. He's nice. So cool. But this bacopa is really exciting me. And I've got a bunch of crypts. I've got a bunch of crypts that I'm really, like Kelly Foreman sent me some rare crypts. I can't tell you the name right now. I'd have to go get like a list to write it down. But, and I also love my like paludarium. I don't know if I can switch this around. Y'all go on. See, I think I just cut my, oh no, are you still there?
You're still there. You're lagging a little bit. We'll give it a moment to clear up. Hopefully you can hear me.
Okay.
There you.
Oh no,
yeah,
I think I cut myself
back.
Okay, there I am.
Back.
Okay.
Yeah,
there
we can hear you. Oh, now
okay,
you're.
Let's see if I can do this. Oops, wrong way.
I feel like I'm on the Hot Mess Express.
You darn right. Wait a minute. Let's see here. Facing back. Okay, let's try it. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, I don't know if it's going to work. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Not a big deal.
Oh, it's not
We aren't
working.
professionals
It's not
here. We
working.
aren't. So
No, you're pretty professional, but I'm not.
no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Uh-oh. I think we might have lost her. She'll come back. We'll give it a minute. A lot of Fish fam could use a tech upgrade. I agree. And for anybody out there thinking about that, start with your audio. Start with your audio, because unfortunately, I do see some channels from time to time where the audio is just very difficult to hear. And it's okay if you're pixelated. It doesn't have to be 4K. Your audio is the most important. If we can understand what you're saying, that's okay. And for some of us, it would be better if we weren't able to see faces. You know what I'm saying? If I was just a big pixelated mess, that would be great. We'll give her some time. I'm going to look through the chat some more here, and I'll have some questions queued up for her. Alex said, tells the best dirty joke, dad jokes without being offensive. Sometimes I do think I'm a little offensive, but I try not to be, and I try to spread it around so that I'm not being sexist or racist ever. But, I do try to spread it around a little bit. So I will talk about pinching Kyle's butt, Beck's husband, as much as I talk about pinching Beck's butt. Although I don't think I've ever mentioned pinching Beck's butt. I think I'd feel uncomfortable with saying that, but I have no problem saying I'd pinch Kyle's. Welcome back.
Hey, y'all. It was actually my internet. I think it just dropped me.
Okay, not a big deal.
Okay,
the last part of Myrtle's question was, and what inspires you to be so awesome?
Oh my gosh. Like, for real, it really is you guys. And I know that sounds kind of cliche or whatever, but no, it really is. Like, when I share something and I get comments back, or even when I comment in other videos, just the knowledge that the people in the fish fam has makes me want to try different things, makes me want to do more. I don't know how to explain it to you guys, because it's been so long since I've had like friends, you know what I mean? Like real friends.
Yeah.
That just the simplest thing can make me want to do that much more. And speaking of Myrtle, I have a song that he did for me, and I haven't put it together with video yet. And he's done so much incredible music for the Fish fam. His music inspires me. Just, you guys don't know. You could think it's something so mundane and it's nothing, and it absolutely rocks my world. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't.
I get it. I understand.
I can't get over the knowledge in this community. Like, you would think, to me, you would think that like everybody in the community is like me. I'm just a person that came in wanting to learn about a betta and a bowl and blah, blah, blah. But there's so many people here that are really dedicated, true fish keepers, that no matter what you throw out there, they can tell you the experience, and the knowledge just blows my mind. And it could be something really simple, and they'll come up with something that just like, golly, I never thought about that.
Yeah.
You know,
we're very lucky. We really are.
We're so blessed. So blessed.
Excuse me. And it's free. It's free. They're giving us information to us free.
That's it.
The least we can do is support them with positive comments like Mary.
Right. I mean, all it is just if you can subscribe and comment and leave a like. And if you don't like it, then just don't watch it. You know, you don't have to be mean or rude or do something awful. And Rico's gone, and here I am. There he is.
Sorry, that was.
But
Dragon Lair says, "No one walks." And Patrick, it's so good to see you. No one walks alone. Every one of us needs everyone else. We are all connected. We are all connected.
Yes.
I am who I am because you are who you are. Wayne would like to know when Mary Paige streams. And right now, the only stream you're on with is the Hot Mess Express regularly, which is Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Roxanne's channel.
And Father Fish on Sundays at 6 o'clock.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot the Father Fish one.
That's all right.
No reason I want to get into, but I don't watch too much.
I know you don't. It's okay.
It's,
It's okay.
we all have our things.
But you know what? He's the one that taught me and I've adjusted my whatever, my system, but I've learned my basics from him. And everybody's got different opinions stuff. What I take away something that I like from everybody, and what he taught me was how to set up an aquarium. So, there I am. So it don't matter
and
about the rest of the stuff.
you don't judge. You don't
No,
judge. And
not
that's
at
another
all.
part of what makes you so important to
Not at all.
to
I
us.
can hear about drama. I can hear about this going on or that going on. But you know what? I try not to get into any of that. I see it happening. I know
Yeah,
that it's going on.
it's
But
there.
yeah, but when it comes to me, like you might have been somebody that gave me some advice 2 years ago, and I remember you for that. And it doesn't matter what. Look, there's Robert. See, Robert, what are you doing?
Robert.
But
Kitty.
yes, you all teach me something, and I really appreciate it. This is Robert.
I mentioned it today, but there's very, very few people that aren't welcome here. And I mean,
Right. And I
two,
understand.
think,
I mean, I know things happen. It's
you really got to do a lot to make me not want to welcome you to.
right.
And there's really one. I've blocked one person out of the entire fish fam. I have one person blocked out of the entire fish fam, and that person, said they were going to commit acts of violence against fish fam
Yeah,
members at an event.
I remember that. But that's not cool. That's not cool.
Everybody is welcome to come to my streams, and I will treat everybody the same, regardless of the beef that they have with other people. Do I have friends that I'm more friends with? Yeah, of course. I mean, we all do, but
we all do.
everybody's welcome. Anyways, back to Mary Paige. Bex would like to know if you've ever thought about going into counseling because you'd be amazing at it.
I actually have. And, and I hope maybe Alex doesn't mind me saying this, but there was a time he and I even talked about like maybe thinking about a recovery fish channel, like a recovery. And it doesn't have to be drugs or alcohol. It could be PTSD. It could be, all kinds of different things. I won't get into, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm part of something called Celebrate Recovery, which is Christian based. And some people, I don't want to get into all that,
Sure.
But what it means is it doesn't matter. It could be gambling. It could be sexual. It could be, drugs. It could be alcohol. It could be cigarettes. It could be whatever. It could be fish. Who knows? But a lot of people do tend to have a addictive personality. Like we go all in and just go crazy. So, which is what I do. But we've thought about, and that's been a couple, I mean, he may not even remember it. So sorry, Alex, but I think he's streaming right now. But we had talked about something like that. Like maybe, I don't know. I've thought about going in and like actually doing some classes and getting back into college. I've been to some college. I went into nursing when I was going through grooming school, and I dropped out of nursing to go to grooming school. And I also, while I was locked up for a couple of years, I went through horticulture. So I've got plant knowledge that I don't feel like I know enough to say it, but I know more than people think that I do. I'm just not an expert. Like I hear like, Corey, for example, and Bentley, they're horticulturalists. I've been through 3 years of school for that, but I don't trust myself enough to say, yeah, I know what I'm talking about. Gotcha. But I would like to learn more. So I took advantage of things like that. Like when I was going through my troubles and getting myself straightened out, I didn't just sit like 3 hots in a cot and just, playing the game like, yeah, I'm just cool. No, I went to school. I worked at the agriculture center. I went to horticulture school. I went to different things like that and tried to better myself. But I didn't get to finish it. That's what hurts. I want to finish those things. So that's something I've been looking into. But
don't go back there and finish it though. Don't go back there and finish it.
No, but I've been asked by several people and even some of my therapists and counselors. I do, however, speak at at schools, and I speak at meetings, at different meetings for different recovery groups. And I also speak at jail. I go in and talk to the women's prison. So that's been probably the most rewarding thing, because when I was in that situation, if those ladies hadn't come in there and shared their stories with me, and they shared some things that were pretty real,
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're that low down and you think nobody's going to ever love you again and you've done too much wrong, stories like that are what
Yeah.
give you hope. Like, I was looking at those girls like, dang, they survived it, and look at them now.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff meant a lot to me. It meant a
And
lot
that's
to
what you're
me.
doing right now too. You're doing that same thing. You're telling that same story to the people that
Right.
out there that still maybe are having those same type of issues.
Yeah.
You are.
And there's so many people out there that haven't been put, like me. I was put out there like you. I got caught, and I was put in the paper, and I was put in court, and I couldn't hide from it. It was just, and it was so embarrassing, and it was so devastating at the time. And then I lost my mom during it. My kids didn't want nothing to do with me, and I thought my life was over. And just the fact that when I got out, and I was looking for a home placement, like I had to have a home placement to come home. They weren't going to let me out. They were like, you're going to this rehab center, and if you don't have a home placement, then we're sending you to blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God, this is real, y'all. Nobody wants me. Like, I'm done. And then, like I said, my kids were like, Mom, we just don't know. You've conditioned us for so long. Are you really going to straighten up, or are you really, is this the way it's going to be? And
Yeah.
But I started talking to them. It took just little baby steps to open conversations, just like calling them every day, wishing them happy birthday. But you know what?
Deal.
Things in my mind was like, my dad doesn't call me and tell me happy birthday.
Yep.
My dad call me, and so I'm thinking, why should I do that? Because I don't get that. That's the kind of stuff that plays with your mind.
Yes.
And for the past 2 years, y'all, I've had the most amazing birthday with this fish fam. I mean, like, I've never had somebody say, shout out stream to Mary Paige for her birthday.
Yeah.
You guys, that means like the world to me.
It
like,
does. It does. I'm with you. Never had it. I never had it.
Never have had. I haven't even heard happy birthday in 10 years, and my kids see it too. And my kids are so proud of me. And they're like, they know about this stream tonight. And they're like, wow, Mom, look at you. You're up there with Rico. They know who you are. They watch. They might not comment, but they know who you are.
It should have been, oh, I'm sorry. You got to go up with Rico. All right, another question for you. And I know the answer to this one. Scotty would like to know if you're coming to the Clash. You can't make it to the Clash, but you're doing the Triple
Clash. Yes, that's the reason I started this little job at the country store. I'm hoping, and I've already got whatever motel and everything's reserved for the Triple Crown in Louisville, and that's only 3 hours away from me, so I should be there. And I don't want to ask for like crowdfunding and all that stuff. You guys have been too good to me. So I did find a part-time job, and might turn into more. He knows what I'm working for. And if I could get a couple of because that's only 2 months away. That's at the end of July.
Yeah, end of July. Yep, last week of July.
So, of course, first couple paychecks I've made have been to like make up for my bills. But I'm hoping that the next paycheck I can put away, and I can actually go and enjoy myself. I know I probably can't buy fish and all this great stuff, but as long as I can like go eat, go out to eat with you guys or hang out with you guys, I'm just, oh my gosh, it's so exciting. I can't believe it. It's here in Kentucky. So I'm trying. So I'm working hard. I won't
be able to go to the Triple Crown. I really wanted to go, but it's just not going to happen.
I know.
Clash is the only one I'm going to be at this year. So.
But that's cool. At least something, just something. And I think there's a lot of people coming to the Triple Crown. I believe it's the American Killifish Association, the American Cichlid, and the American Live Bears. Is that right?
And the rainbow fish, the angfish.
And the rainbow. Oh, Gary Lang rainbow fish. Yeah.
Yep.
So I've got one wrong there, but it's 3 of them. Triple Crown.
This jumped on me, so I'm trying to scroll back down.
I haven't even looked at the chat, y'all. I'm just
Good.
like,
yeah, stay out of it because
okay.
you'll
I
get
love you
distracted.
all.
You know what? I hate to say it. Hopefully, somebody will hear him. My Tucker's trying to get out.
Well,
And Tucker
it's
is my dog.
It's what, 8:05, and I know my family's in there like, where's mom at?
Do you need to get going then?
Just here in a few minutes, but
Okay,
I'm good.
let's
I've
cut it off.
so
Let's do 10 more minutes. Let me.
Okay, sounds good.
There was a couple of super chats that came in.
Oh my gosh,
I just got down to multi-tank addiction. Chris gave
Chris,
us the doo-doo
I haven't even
that you
talked
do.
about Chris. Chris is another one that just out of the blue contacted me one day and said, would you like to come up and co-host with me? And I had an amazing time with Chris. What happened was he ended up changing jobs and he didn't know what his schedule was going to be. And so it kind of messed with, I think we were doing it every Saturday or whatever. And it kind of messed that up. But Chris has really, people like Chris have encouraged me, and he knew I didn't know everything about fish, but he was always like helping me and like getting me excited about things. And I just enjoyed being part of his stream so much. And he's asked me a couple times to come back up and it just hadn't worked out. But Chris, if you guys don't know multi-tank addiction, please check out Chris. He is amazing.
Unfortunately, he's not streaming regularly anymore.
Yeah.
But
times are hard, guys. I mean, they're just hard.
Yeah. But yeah, Chris is a good guy. Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Let's see. I'm trying to see. I got down to where Kelly Foreman at just a couple of minutes before the top of the hour, and she has cats, and she wants to know about your kitty cats.
Oh my goodness! So when I was in Virginia, we came home to Kentucky one day, and we brought home a little itty bitty. Wait a minute, I'll show her to you. We brought home this little teeny tiny bobtail kitten. See this little thing? There's her little tail. This is her. Her name is Pisky.
Wow. Well, I remember when you brought her home.
Yeah. And
she's gotten a lot bigger.
Yes, she has. And Pisky got fixed. But before she got fixed, she had 3 kittens. So I ended up keeping 3 kittens. And then when we moved, I had Robert.
Piskie? Piskie? What does that mean? What is Piskie?
Piskie. I don't know. It's just some crazy name I came up with.
Okay. All right.
Pisker kitty. Pisky kitty. I don't know where.
I didn't know if it was like a Southern word I wasn't familiar with. There aren't very many of those, but I thought, wait.
Southern word. It's a Mary Paige word.
Pisky, is that when you drink a lot of whiskey? That's what happens?
Yeah.
You got to take a
pisky. No, I'm just kidding. And then I had Robert was back. Look at me pointing at Robert. He's not back there.
Yeah.
I had Robert and Bob. And then when I got here, somebody came by one day and dropped 3 little kittens off that were this long that their mommy had left them. Oh. Never had a mommy, never even got the first mommy's milk. I mean, she like had them, it freaked her out, she ran off. So I figured they'd die. So I've ended up with 7 cats.
and one
of the reasons I'm broke right now is because last month I got them all fixed. I luckily found a vet that did them all for $50 a piece. And here's one of the kitties right here. This is Tiggy. And then I have Turk, which Turk is probably in the house. But they don't know anybody but me. They think I'm their mommy. So where are you going? Okay, he's gone. See? So 7 kitties.
And what does your husband think about that?
He doesn't like them.
Yeah.
No, he does.
Does he? He's all right with them?
He's like me. He's soft-hearted. Like, he doesn't really want them, but,
yeah. But
it is what it is.
He's accepting
they're
them,
here.
Yeah.
And like when you're not paying attention to him, he's like, oh, little kitty, and you're like,
Susan, hi Susan. She said, Mary Paige, women's and men's prisons and even juvenile prisons and nursing homes are so rewarding to see people's lives change for the better. And you're speaking there is that making that happen. So
oh, y'all, like I remember when I first got to prison and I was so bummed out. I was like, oh God, why am I here? What am I trying to learn? And this girl walked up to me one time and she said, And she didn't even know what I was going through. Like I was tore up. Like I couldn't believe that I was in here with murderers and, be honest with you, child molester. I was in there with all kind of people. Like I went to prison. I didn't go to just jail. I went to prison.
Yeah.
And there was another lady in there, and she walked up to me one day and she said, I thank God every day that you were here for me. Like God put me there for her, you
Yeah.
know. And I was like, what?
Which is sort of a weird kind of compliment, because it's basically saying, I'm so happy you went to prison. But I get what she was trying to say.
Right.
She was happy you were there for her.
Look, she was a lady that was like a registered nurse that had a husband or a boyfriend or whatever that was out there. And he had, you know how people do weird things for love. He had convinced her to write prescriptions. She was a nurse practitioner, and she had wrote prescriptions for him, and she ended up in prison. And he was out there, who knows where. You know, she was like basically a doctor, and she had messed up. And she was like, you know, if it wasn't for you, I couldn't make it. And I thought, oh my gosh, that just like blew me away, because I didn't want to be there. You know, I don't want no part of this. I just,
yeah.
And this other girl told me, she said, I don't like being here. I just don't fit in. And I looked at her, and she was about, I don't know, she's probably about 21 years old. I said, did you hear what you just said? And she said, what? And I said, you said you don't fit in. I said, do you want to fit in here? Think
It's
about
prison.
that.
It's prison.
It's prison.
Yeah.
You don't want to fit in here. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Don't fit in here. Do better. So, and I had some talents that got recognized there too. You know, I kind of became not a leader, but something. You know, the guards gave me a little more. I became a trustee. I mean, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's not bragging at all, because, I mean, but still, they saw that there was something in me that, like, I just got really messed up in life, and I was not. There's people that are criminals, okay? And there's people that are criminals because of, say, an addiction, you know, like your addiction.
A pure mistake.
Your addiction drove you to do some dumb behind stuff. And my addiction had drove me to do some stupid stuff. It really had, because I was so sick. I couldn't live unless, or I thought I couldn't live unless I had my next. I couldn't be a normal mom unless I had a pill in me, or I couldn't be an employee unless I had a pill in me. You know, that's what it did come to. So sorry, but that's just the way it really was. I was in bad shape.
Another $10 super chat from Mark Sturlson. He said, Mary Paige, you are just awesome.
Mark, love you. I love everybody. Y'all are just fantastic. Thank you.
I'm going to try and hurry through here, because we got just a couple minutes left. We want to let Mary go and hang out with the family.
My phone from dying like I'm on the last bar.
Dr. Awesome said some of his students are now calling him Dr. Awesome. So I love that. I love that that's getting some traction.
Look, the first time I met him on Alex's stream, I was so like, I just thought Dr. Awesome. Roxanne was the one that started saying Dr. Awesome. But you really are like, it was so cool to have this like serious researcher and part of our fish fam, man. Like, he is in Peru. He is in the Amazon.
He was a natural fit right from the beginning, though. I felt that. He just felt like he belonged with us right from the beginning. Because, yes, he's a very intelligent person. Yes, he's got a lot going on there. But
he's like us. He's just a regular person.
He wasn't putting on airs and, you know.
Right.
And real quick, let's see. Myrtle wants to know if you have any plans to get more kitties.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not. Because, you know, this is like a 15-year investment in these cats. You know, I've got to keep them. They got to be forever homes. So I think about stuff like that now, especially being a vet tech. I know that animals have lifespans, and I don't want them to end up having to go somewhere else. You know, I don't rehome them. They're happy. They're loved. So I pray every day that I will be blessed if I stay in this camp or whatever, that I can keep them every day and they can live out their life for me. That's what I hope. But I'm sure there's some more on the way. I just know, because there was one at work the other day. Oh my gosh. It was out there on the patio on the little and it was so pitiful. It was skin and bones. It couldn't even walk. And I took Paige and put Viennese sausages in it and was trying to catch it. So my boss will kill me. Knows I was feeding the dumpster cats.
I'm listening, but I'm also trying to hurry through. I don't want to, and I know I've missed some questions too, so I apologize to people.
It's all right.
There's so many people. There's still 89 people watching that want to know
guys.
about you,
So honored. Like, I'm really honored. Like, I know you've had Bob Steinbot last week, and I was like, oh, how am I going to follow that up?
They're just people. Corey's been on here.
That's what it
doesn't matter. And you know what? It doesn't matter the size of the channel because they're just people. And I love having Whip's World was up here. I think he had 56 subscribers at the moment. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It just matters that you're a part of the Fish fam. And I personally think that you're a good person.
One of you guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Last one. Myrtle wants to know most valuable trait you picked up in prison. And it's a two-part again. So is there anything that you picked up while you were in prison that was actually a positive thing? A trait?
Fire starting.
You said you picked up the knowledge. Well, what'd you say? I missed it.
Fire starting. I'm just kidding.
Oh.
I learned how. No. For real though, probably the horticulture, going to college. That was really cool. I didn't get to finish the course, but I learned how to do, like, I didn't get into the water stuff, but like, say you've got a nice house and you want to draw out your landscape. I learned how to do the blueprint. Like, I can go in and I know how big the plants grow, and I know how to, just like a house blueprint, I can do the blueprint for your landscaping. And that was something really cool to me. And then, of course, survival. Just surviving prison.
Yeah.
Making it another day.
Part. It's a two-part. In your opinion, what was the most valuable lesson or thing that you shared to other people while you were there? It sounds like the story you just told us about the girl who said, I don't fit in here. Those types of things.
Yeah, just the fact that, it didn't matter what race, what financial background you came from, no matter what age, none of that mattered when it came down to it, because it's just like the fish fam. We're all bound by the common of fish. But in this situation, we were all bound by mistakes and being addicted to something that just took away our life. And just finding out that my story, as hard as it was for me to tell it, and as hard as it was for me to share it and accept what I had done, actually could help somebody else deal with what they had done and not give up hope, because there's a lot of, and I hate to say it, but there's a lot of suicide. There's a lot of overdose. There's a lot of people that, they go right back out. And drugs are one of those things that your body has a certain tolerance. Like, say, for example, a certain pill you take. It's like your heartbeat. You've got so many heartbeats in your lifetime, basically. When those heartbeats are up, you're done. So with drugs or whatever, you can do so much before you're gone. And I hope this makes sense. But so many people, they think, well, I've been clean for 2 or 3 years now, I can go out and do it again. And they go out there and they do like what they were doing when and they overdose and die. And that hurts more than anything in the world, to see somebody that you got a glimpse of what a beautiful young lady they were. It didn't matter about, say, if they were a prostitute or they were this or that. None of that mattered. You saw this beautiful young lady that was somebody's daughter, somebody's mom, somebody's sister, and now they're gone. And I saw that a lot, and that hurts me more than anything, because like for those 6 months we were in that program, you really thought they're getting it. They've got a chance. I was
Yeah.
brought up a little different growing up. I wasn't brought up around drugs or alcohol or anything. So what I did was a real shock to my family. But some of these kids and some of these young ladies, they've been in that situation since they were kids. Maybe their parents were even the ones that introduced them to it,
Yeah.
you know. And oh no, my phone's gonna die. And that's heartbreaking. That's seriously heartbreaking to watch these young ladies just have to go back out there and get right back in that same life again.
Yeah. And if it wasn't,
And
I don't want to get into the
they
politics
go
side
home
of
to
it.
the system. That's something that breaks my heart. I'm trying.
There's so much more we could do for people instead of just punishment. And I don't want to get into the politics of it, but the punishment isn't working for most people. It doesn't work for most people.
Come
Um,
It's internet. No, it really doesn't. Come on, phone. Sorry, I'm trying.
That's okay. That's okay, Mary Paige. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Can you still hear us?
Oh my gosh. That's why we're called the Hot Disc Express.
We're gonna go ahead and end it though. I'm gonna let you go.
I can still hear you. Can you see me?
Hear? We can see and hear you.
I don't even know what's happening right now. Okay, there
Does
we
it
go.
sound okay?
I see you, but I'm like faded out. Okay. Okay.
Are we back?
Yep. You sound good.
Okay. You look frozen to me, but
I look like I'm frozen.
I can hear you. But I can hear you, and that's the important part. We'll go ahead and end it.
But you can hear me?
Can you still hear
okay.
us?
Yes, I sure can.
Uh-oh.
I can hear you.
I think we're back.
Okay, there we are.
We're back. Okay. Just in time for us to end it.
And we're back.
Everybody, thanks so much for hanging out with us.
I love you guys.
Yeah, this is regardless of things that happen from time to time, this is not a toxic community. This is not a negative community. This is a very helpful, positive experience here. And we can make it better. We can all be better and treat each other kindly, because you don't know the things that people go through. Even somebody that is so extremely supportive and
that's it right
positive
there.
as Mary Paige, she's had a rough go of it. And, we can all do better. That's all. So thanks so much for the super chats. Thanks for hanging out with us. Next week, we get to see Alexander Engelhart. And
oh, yes.
And then that'll be good. Get to learn about him. And then the following week, we have our very own friend Bex. So that'll be good too. Thank you guys so much. Mary Paige, anything before we leave that you want to tell anybody?
Just like you said, you just never know what somebody could have gone through in their life. And remember that. And if we've made it to this community, it's like, it might be starting over for somebody. Just be kind and love each other. And just remember that. That's the main thing, is just do what we're doing. This community is beautiful, and I love each and every one of you all. Yeah. And I don't know if you can see me. I can't see anybody, but I'm just like staring at a black phone. So
yeah, we can hear you though. So that's what matters. We can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about my internet. This is rural Kentucky.
Doesn't matter. It was still an incredibly inspiring stream. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rico. Thank you, Rico, for having me. For real. Sure. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah. I
really enjoyed it.
We should have done it a long time ago, but okay, everybody. See ya.